Hi guys, wait, which one? 10 here. Happy Vlogtober 2nd. Okay, what am I doing? I don't know. Hubby and I brought up some more Halloweeny stuff. My back is killing me, my neck is killing me. I'm in pain. So, what I'm going to do this evening, I am going to do something with these. I found these. They don't have them this year. They're for something else, if I can get it together. So we're going to work on those. I'm going to tell you about Halloween, like you've probably been told 1,000 times every Vlogtober. And then I will finish the story. Some of you guys will be like, what story? I'll have to put that together in a playlist. It's called The Water's Deep. Let me go turn off the water here. Are you going to have some water? Well, drink up then. Come on. Cat's bathtub. Yeah, so I'll finish off that story. So, what I'm going to do is, I don't like the silver. I don't know why I left the silver on these, but I did. Mass insanity on my part. Okay, let's see. I might have enough on this to do it. I might. Then again, I might not. I want to color this because I don't like this isn't going to be a good brush. Ow, my back. Now that I'm looking at it, it's a crappy brush. I should have chose a better one, but I didn't. So, there you go. Yeah. It has been cool here today. We had a little bit of rain. We had clouds. Man, did we have clouds. I honestly can't tell you if they cleared up because I fell asleep after I ate. What else is new? Nothing. I went searching on our cable system here called Rogers. They're supposed to have all the Halloween movies on, and one of them that they had shown in their commercial is my favorite, which is The Shining, but I can't find it for nothing. When you go through, you have to say free movies and it gives you a whole list. There's Christmas ones in there too. The one I ended up watching was called Spirit Halloween the Movie. And yes, it is about a Spirit Halloween store. But it goes back to the guy who played in Christopher, I can't remember what his last name is. Doc from Back to the Future was in it. He plays a man back in, it looked like the 40s, that wanted the land that a woman was on with her children, and she was a witch and placed I can't say a curse because he didn't even get off her land when he passed away, but the land that the Spirit Halloween is built on was the land that he wanted, or that he was taking from her. So on this certain Halloween, he had to possess someone to live forever. But it's all about these kids who go into the spirit and Halloween, and they hide so they can be there overnight. They don't know about this, and or the kid knows. I think the kid knows about the legend, I guess it was, because it was told at their school. But it's basically about teenage boys growing up, as far as I'm concerned. One wants to go trick-or-treating, the others are saying no. So I like that better. And you can barely see, but the light, the things are still in there. So that's that done. Now this one, come on, that's better. This one I was thinking of. Let me pull old rag I have here. I was thinking of just using the black and brushing it on and brushing it off, because this is pretty in your face green, man. It's just too green for me. But yeah, I mean, it was an okay story. Not exactly too scary, but I had put on a couple of other ones. One looked really lame, so I said forget that one. And then there was another one, I liked the title, which I can't remember now, but it was animated. Like with the stop figures, I think they call them. And I was like, no, I don't want to watch that. So I turned that off. So there you go. La, 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 la. Okay. Now what I can do here, yeah, my hands are all getting dirty. What else is new? I can, if I think this is too much, get some water and dilute the paint. I can do that. I mean, since the bathroom's right there, it'd be easy enough to do. Just rub, 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 rub. I don't know why I didn't think of doing this last year. Because it's just... I mean, you gotta admit, that was just a little bit too green, too in your face green. Yeah, I'm just splitzing and splurtzing here. Getting this done. Oops. Yeah, I like this better. Way better. There we go. And now she's done. Quickly. You know me, I don't like stuff that takes too long. I like it to be quick. Do I have the flameless candles to put on here? Nope. I don't think. I have some, but they don't work. Now, I think if I'm correct, I did put the color on this one. Pretty wonderful. I know on the hands I did. So there's that. Now, I shall Make everything fall. Okay. We are going to, or I'm going to tell you about, I'll turn this off now, about Halloween. Like you've been told about this before, but there you go. Okay, let me go turn off the tap. So, Halloween. It began over 2,000 years ago. It was the Celts who celebrated Samhain. It was to celebrate the final harvest of the summer. It signified the ending of one year and the beginning of the next. Bonfires were common as part of it. Fires at the home were extinguished to be lighted again by the flame from the bonfire. They believed spirits walked the earth at this time, and people wore costumes to keep the spirits confused. Carving of scary faces on a pumpkin, originally a turnip, was to keep all evil spirits away from your home. Legend speaks of a man who trapped the devil. He would only release him if he promised never to take him to hell. When the man passed away, he learned heaven didn't want him. His soul was forced to continuously walk the earth. The devil gave him a piece of coal to place in a carved turnip to light his way for eternity. Trick-or-treating began with people leaving offerings at their door for the spirits. When people began to dress up, this was part of the offering as well. It is also believed the Scottish custom of adults and children going door to door offering prayers for the souls of the dead. They would also sing in exchange for food or money. If you didn't give food or money, they would play a trick. Yet another custom comes from Germany, where children would dress up and visit neighbors. If they could not guess who they were, food or other treats were the reward. Now, Halloween in Canada. Scottish and Irish immigrants introduced the holiday to Canada. The first costume war here was in Vancouver, British Columbia in 1898. The first recorded use of the phrase trick or treat was in Lethbridge, Alberta in 1927. In 2014, it was estimated over $1 billion is in the Halloween industry in Canada and is second only to Christmas. The first sale of a mask was in Kingston, Ontario in 1874. At that time, fairies and witches were popular. In 1897, Mr. Rogers of Rogers Chocolates referred to his candy and chocolates being sold for the holiday. Something most would not need to worry about. In Banff, Alberta, citizens were strongly advised to take pumpkins inside. It was due to bears in search of food. UNICEF for years had children going door to door requesting a donation. I recall the small boxes given out at school. Nowadays, donations are mainly made online. In Cornwall, Ontario, they began to encourage healthier treats. The suggestion was to hand out passes for swimming and skating. One year, 1,500 passes were sold. Not bad, eh? Pretty good. So that's just a little bit there. Now, Water's Deep. This, just to refresh you, is a story. I got it. About 3 women and an elderly couple. Now, the women all had, Gizzy, The women had all... Hang on. Okay, we have the main character, and we have Sheila, her friend, and Judy, who is the young girl, last to be renting off of the Hamiltons. Now, we had the girls up in the attic where they found a picture, and they were trying to figure out, because they recognized Mr. and Mrs. Hamilton in the photos. So this is them. We jump in of them trying to figure it out. Maybe cousins. Judy studied the picture. Or maybe a neighbor that got in the photo. Still more questions with no answer. It rained that day. There were no boot prints on the porch. It didn't give me any relief, though. The three of us sat in the living room talking about the photos, wondering as we did last night. There were still no clear answers. My phone rang at 10. It was them. I decided I had to be firm. I answered hello and asked how they were. "We're fine, dear. Do you mind if we come over?" It was now or never. I would prefer time with my friends alone. I don't mind spending time with you, but it has been excessive. I don't want to seem rude, but don't you have friends your own age? The girls' mouths dropped. I had done it. I had said what I had been feeling. Mrs. Hamilton assured me they did have friends, but they felt much more alive around young people. Again, I said I understood, but needed time with people my own age. Judy was only 5 years younger than me. I heard the disappointment in the elderly woman's voice. There was also a hint of anger. I just couldn't take it anymore. I was proud of speaking my mind, but at what cost? "I told you that girl would be nothing but trouble. She's found her voice. This could mean a lot of bother for us. She owns the house now. It's only a matter of time before she finds the attic. The room in the attic. And when she finds that..." Mrs. Hamilton didn't finish the sentence. "What are you thinking? How are we going to get inside? We don't own the place anymore," Mr. Hamilton inquired. Finally, they had a question they couldn't answer. I pushed the couple to the back of my mind. Winter came and went with no boot prints but my own. Spring was welcomed after the snow we had. Leaves would soon cover the trees again. Judy and I were sitting out back, and I noticed movement in the tree line. I leaned forward in my chair, squinting. "What is it?" Judy asked. "I'm not really sure. I thought I saw a person, but I must be wrong." We sat watching intently. Any sign of movement should be easy to see. The snow was still hanging beneath the branches. Judy noticed it first. "Right there!" It was a person. Matter of fact, 2 people. My stomach turned over. It couldn't be, but it was. "It's the Hamiltons," Judy said in shock. "They found a way in without a car." "The nearest road is miles away from here," I told her. We had no choice but to greet them the closer they came. "Hello," I shouted across the open field. They waved in response. We hiked in from the park entrance. "Feels good to be out and about again. I hope you don't mind the intrusion." "Not at all. Come in and warm yourselves." We all went into the kitchen. Judy put on the kettle. I went for some fancy biscuits. "Have you done any more on the house?" Mrs. Hamilton strained her neck to peer into the hall. It came out before I could stop it. "We discovered the attic." Realizing what I had said, I thought fast. "We haven't been up there yet. I'm hoping to renovate so I can rent it out." Judy went along with my lie. A look of relief swept over their faces, but panic soon returned. I don't recall an attic, do you, dear? He shook his head. He was a man of few words. I thought for sure she would ask to see, but she didn't. Mrs. Hamilton was anxious to leave. They didn't stay long after getting the information. That was close, I said, sitting back in the kitchen chair. For sure they'll be back soon. Tina, did you notice the door at the opposite end of the attic? No. Before we could investigate, my phone rang. It was Sheila. Did you see the news? She asked. 2 more of the girls showed up, both around that house. I was at a loss of what to say. Tina, the reporter said they had marks on their necks. Vampires? Judy said. Again, I had no words. The Hamiltons were just here. They came in through the forest. She claims they used to hike. They knew nothing of the attic. I replied in conversation. You mentioned the attic? Yeah, it slipped out. I told them we hadn't explored it yet. I continued. Judy and I were going up there when you called. She's seen a door at the other end of the attic. I don't remember a door, Sheila thought. Can you wait till I get there? I want to see this. We agreed to wait the hour it took for her to get to the farm. When she arrived, we went upstairs. Switching on the overhead light, we walked to the door. You think it's locked? I asked. Sheila stepped forward and twisted the knob. It opened. The 3 of us entered the room. There was another cot with a table and chair. Beside was a dresser without drawers. Tina, look at this. Laying on the dresser was the identical family photo from the album. Turning it over, we read the names. She wasn't a Hamilton, she was a William. There's a notation here. Judy read it out loud. Orphan William. Parents left her here. My goodness, that is sad. Can you imagine? Sheila commented. Girls, there's a book here on vampires. And this thing. Judy held up a small contraption with 2 small pins. Moving a box on the dresser, she found a used needle. Do you think they're vampires? They must use this to make the marks on the neck, then use the syringe to take the blood? How sick is that? From down below, we heard a noise. We all thought the same thing. Rushing to the ladder, we caught a glimpse of a figure. It was them, I know it, I said, rushing down the rungs quickly. By the time the 3 of us were at the door, we seen only the tail lights of the car. But how did they get in? I wondered out loud. Through here, Sheila shouted. The cupboards positioned where a door once was were open. It's a facade. Fake cupboards. How ingenious of them. I wonder how many times they've used this to gain entry. I didn't want to think of it. Neither did Judy. Sheila stayed the night. None of us slept well. Considering our finding, I toyed with the idea of selling. Then I thought, why put someone else at risk? Time passed, and we were surprised when there were no visits from the couple. I inquired at their apartment building as to their whereabouts. We have no idea. 2 months ago, they went to visit a friend and never returned. The superintendent had seen me before. The Hamiltons had spoken highly of me. I asked, not hopeful, if I could gain entry to the apartment. There was no problem. The rent is paid. No, is the rent paid? I asked. They bought the unit, cut a deal with a holding company, the superintendent replied. Opening the door, he switched on the light. empty. There was nothing there. We went room by room. All were the same. The kitchen attached to the fridge, in the kitchen attached to the fridge was a black and white photo. I know this photo. It was the same one from the album in the attic. Staring, I quickly realized the Hamiltons were not in it. Where they had sat, lay 2 dogs and a bucket. I thought to take it, then thought better of it. I said nothing more. I turned and thanked the gentleman and left. I stopped at the office to inform Sheila of what I had seen. That's strange, to say the least, she said. Judy worried about not knowing where they were. If they were hiding here somewhere, we'd know. They need supplies to eat, I told her. Sheila researched the properties and found all had been sold 2 months ago. To this day, we have no idea as to their whereabouts. So please be careful when renting, especially if it's from an elderly couple. There you go. Not read very well. I'm a little rusty. Sorry about that. But what can I say? So this is Vlogtober 2, a mishmash of a few things. Thank you for coming by from a cool and now, of course, dark outside Ottawa. Ciao for now.